The sun was barely rising over the training compound when the platoon formed on the gravel field. The air smelled like dust, sweat, and metal. Everyone stood at attention, except one personal Lieutenant Commander Briggs, the man known across the base for breaking recruits faster than he broke in his boots. Today, Briggs shouted, "Pacing in front of the formation, we test your reaction speed under pressure. No hesitation, no fear. You move or you lose." His voice echoed across the silent field. The trainees stood stiff as statues, except for one woman in the second row, standing calm, hands behind her back. Her name was Sergeant Leah Carter. 28 years old, 5'6", lean, sharp, quiet. The kind of quiet that made people underestimate her every time. Briggs's eyes stopped on her like he'd found a challenge. "Q," he said sharply, pointing. "Front and center." Leah stepped forward. Her boots crunched on gravel, but her face stayed calm. She never showed nerves during training, and that irritated Briggs more than he admitted. He liked breaking people. He liked watching fear. But she never gave him either. "You think you're fast, Carter?" Briggs growled. "I think I follow orders, sir," she replied. "Is that so?" A dangerous smile spread across his face. "I heard your unit thinks you're special. Calls you the Ice Blade. Cute nickname. Let's see if you actually earned it." A few trainees exchanged nervous looks, but nobody dared speak. Briggs circled her like a wolf around a deer. Except Leah didn't look like prey. Her posture stayed calm, shoulders relaxed, hands loose at her sides. "This drill," Briggs said, turning to the group, "is about reaction. The moment you see an attack, you counter. You move or get dropped. Simple." Then he turned back to her. "Ready, Sergeant?" "Yes, sir." The whole platoon watched with sharp tension. Everyone knew Briggs hit hard during demonstrations. Too hard, but he always justified it in the name of training. And the chain of command led him because, well, he was Briggs. He shifted his weight. Leah saw it instantly. His hand twitched, his foot dug slightly into the ground, but she didn't move. "Good," Briggs whispered, getting closer. "Let's see your instincts." Without warning, he swung. A sharp, fast strike meant to hit her shoulder and drop her sideways. He had used this move on dozens of recruits before. It always made them stumble, sometimes fall. It was his way of reminding them who was in charge. His strike connected. A loud crack echoed across the field. Leah didn't fall. She didn't even move an inch backward. She absorbed the hit like it was a tap instead of a full-force strike. Briggs blinked, surprised for half a second. That half second was all she needed. Her body shifted, smooth and controlled. Her arm rose. Her foot pivoted. And in a flash, 5 seconds total, Briggs was on the ground. Face down, one arm pinned behind his back in a precise, clean joint lock. The platoon froze. Everything went silent. Briggs's breath hitched with shock and pain. Leah spoke calmly, not raising her voice. "Sir, you said react when attacked." The grip she had on his arm was firm, but not cruel, controlled, professional. Briggs tried to push up, but she tightened her hold expertly, stopping him without hurting him more. He couldn't move. He couldn't even believe it from the sidelines. Someone whispered. "Holy she," took him down. Another trainee swallowed hard, eyes wide. In 5 seconds. Leah released Briggs the moment she felt him stop struggling. She stepped back, stood at attention again, and waited for orders like nothing had happened. Briggs pushed himself to his knees, breathing hard, stunned in front of the entire platoon. For the first time anyone could remember, he looked guilty, embarrassed. Human heat got to his feet. Slowly, no one dared say a word. He dusted off his uniform, regained his stance, and stared at her. "What? What was that?" He muttered. "Reaction training, sir," she said simply. Just as instructed. Briggs let out a short, harsh breath, not quite a laugh, but not anger either. Something in between. The platoon still didn't know whether he'd explode or praise her. Instead, Briggs walked closer. Too close? But this time, his expression wasn't mocking. "Where did you learn that technique?" he asked quietly. Leah didn't hesitate. During my deployment with the SEAL unit in Bahrain, sir. A few trainees gasped. Someone whispered, she was with the SEALs. Another added, no wonder they call her Ice Blade. Briggs straightened his posture. You served with SEAL Team 7? Yes, sir, she answered. I was cross-attached as part of the Special Response Team. EOD in close-quarter training, and no one thought to tell me this. Briggs snapped at the rest of the leadership standing nearby. One of the junior officers cleared his throat. Sir, it was in her file. Briggs stared at him, which I reviewed. Yes, sir, but maybe page 6 wasn't attached. Briggs gave a long, frustrated sigh. Page 6. The page, with her entire advanced combat history, wasn't attached. The junior officer shrank. Briggs looked back at Leah again. Really looking this time, and for the first time he saw her clearly not as a recruit to break. Not as a challenge to dominate, but as a soldier who had already been tested in ways beyond base training. What's your full service background? Briggs asked. 7 years active duty, she said. 2 deployments. Close quarter combat specialist. Assisted SEAL team operations on reconnaissance and high-risk extraction missions. Certified in 5 martial arts disciplines. And I completed the advanced counter-assault instructor course last year. The platoon stared like she had just read off a legend's resume. Someone murmured, she's more qualified than half the instructors here. Briggs rubbed his jaw slowly. So you're telling me, he said, almost amused now that I just tried to demonstrate reaction training on someone who trains SEALs themselves. Leah blinked once. Yes, sir. Briggs shook his head. Well, hell, then he did something no one expected. He smiled, a real smile. A real smile. A rare. Sharp with respect hidden behind it. Sergeant Carter, he said loudly, turning to the platoon. You just showed what reaction training looks like at its highest level. 5 seconds. Clean takedown. Controlled force. No injury. No showboating. That is exactly what I expect from every soldier standing here. Nobody dared breathe. Briggs continued. If any of you want to survive real combat, watch and learn from her. She's not just fast. She's disciplined. And discipline wins wars. He looked back at Leah. Report to my office after drills. We need to talk about making you an instructor. Leah nodded. Yes, sir. Briggs stepped away, calling the platoon back into formation. The trainees snapped to attention instantly, still stunned, still whispering silently among themselves. Leah walked back to her spot. Someone behind her whispered, Damn, Ice Blade. Another said, Respect. I'm never sparring with you. Leah didn't respond. She simply stood tall, calm, focused. Like always, training continued, but the energy had shifted. Everyone worked harder, moved sharper, pushed themselves beyond their usual limits. Watching her 5-second takedown had sparked something in them. A mix of awe and motivation. Hours passed until the final drill ended, when Briggs dismissed the platoon. Leah headed toward his office. She expected a reprimand, maybe a warning nod, because she did something wrong. But because hierarchy always demanded something, instead, Briggs stood when she entered. Sit, he said. Surprisingly polite, she sat. Briggs folded his arms. You know, I've been in this game 24 years. I've trained hundreds of soldiers. I've broken dozens of egos. But I've never had someone put me on the ground so fast, I didn't even have time to blink. Sir? No? Carter? Listen, he interrupted. You didn't disrespect me. You followed training instructions exactly. And you did it with more precision than anyone on this base. Leah remained silent. Briggs continued. This base needs soldiers like you, skilled, controlled, professional. You didn't hit me back to prove anything. You reacted because that's what the drill demanded. Most people panic. You didn't. Thank you, sir. Briggs leaned back, studying her. Tell me, he asked, why didn't you mention your SEAL assignments? Why keep it quiet? Leah looked down for a moment. Respect, sir. I didn't want to use my past as a shield. I wanted to earn my place here like everyone else. Briggs's expression softened for the first time. You already have, he stood. As of today, I'm recommending you for the Advanced Cadre Instructor Program. We need someone like you teaching close-quarter drills. And trust me, Carter, they'll listen, Leah nodded. I appreciate the opportunity, sir. One more thing, Briggs added. Next time you put me on the ground, maybe warn me first. Leah blinked. Sir, you attacked first. Briggs paused, then burst out laughing. Fair enough. She stood to leave. Before she reached the door, Briggs called out, Ice Blade. She turned. He gave a small nod. Good work today. Damn good. She nodded back and walked out. The moment she stepped outside, several trainees gathered around her, their faces full of questions, admiration, and disbelief. Sergeant, how did you move so fast? Did you really train with the SEALs? Can you teach us that takedown? Leah simply gave a small smile. One day at a time. First, lessons stay calm. Always. And as the sun dipped toward the horizon, the entire platoon looked at her not just as another soldier, but as someone extraordinary, a warrior who didn't need to say she was strong. She had shown them in 5 seconds.